Now we want to talk about the labels. Labels are usually added to maps to provide useful information about a geographic object. Vector layers may have labels associated with them sometimes. The objective of this session is to learn how to apply useful and legible labels to any layer of our choice. But first of all, we want to make sure that the label toolbar is activated on our QGIS graphic user interface. You can see I have it activated here. However, if you don't have it activated, you can click on your view menu, click on toolbars, and locate the label toolbar, make sure it is checked and marked. And so once you have it like this, you now see that you have the label toolbar activated. And now what you want to do is you want to load the places layer. You can load it following any of the procedures I have demonstrated, but I want to load it using the browser panel. I'll click on the browser, I'll right click on the favorite, I'll add a directory, and select where the exercise file is, desktop, and I'll select the folder. And when I'm done with this, I can now click this forward arrow to expand it. I'll expand the exercise file, expand the exercise data. I'll look for the shapefile and expand it, and now I can see the places.shapefile. Now one way I can bring it up into the map canvas is just to left click, hold it, and drag into the map canvas. And so when I come back to my layers, you can see that the places have been added to my layer panel. This is also a way you can add the data by just holding and dragging into the map canvas. And so from here, we want to change the symbology of the places so that it can be very visible on a map canvas. You can either double click on it, or you go to your layer styling panel, click on the layer styling panel. Now this is the places. It's selected by default because we already selected it here. And what you want to do is click on the symbology and change the color to, let's say, red, using any of the procedures. You can use this and select it directly, or you can use the layer styling panel. While you're using the layer styling panel, you notice that every effect you make is automatically activated, and so you can close it. We now have our places symbolized with the red color. Now we want to label the places, but before we do that, I'd like you to click on the places, go to your attribute table, click on the attribute table, and so you will see that we have 5 row records as well as different fields. And so this is the name, the field for name. And so what you can do is, we want to use this name field to label the places. And so I'll close the attribute table, and I'll either click on the label style, the label option, to bring up the labeling window, or I can as well come to my layer styling panel. So let's click on the layer labeling options. Once you click on it, we have the default places showing here because we already selected it first. However, if you've not selected it from here before, you can as well come here and change it. And so we have it here already. And then make sure that you select the labels. This one, immediately after the symbology, click on the labels. And so now use this drop down arrow to change node labels to single labels. And once you have that done, you can now see that you have several options to choose from here. And so what you can do is to label the field name. You know, when we checked on the attribute table, the field name had several fields and several names, and so we want to label using the name. And so we want to label with the name, the field name. And so use this drop down uh, bring it down, click on it, and select name. And so once this is done, automatically you see that the effect has been applied on the map. You can also change the font style, you can change the font, you can change the text, you can increase the size, you can reduce it, you can change the color, and once this is done, you can click on close. This is one way in which we can label our features. Changing label options. Depending on the styling option we used in the previous demonstrations, we may still notice that labels are overlapping, just like you can see the labels are overlapping on the points, and so because they are not well formatted, sometimes they are far away from the associated marker points. And so to change this what we're seeing here, we will have to use the layer properties or the styling panel, depending on what will make your work easy for you. And so click on the label tab, this one, or use the label styling panel. Once you've clicked on the label tab, select the text and update. Select the text and click on live updates and update. You can play around the fonts, you can change the fonts and do anything you want to do with it. And now you can notice that the texts are not very legible, and so what you want to do is you want to create a buffer around it. So select this tool here, click on it, and now draw text buffer, make sure it is checked. And once that is done, you can see that the effect has been applied here. You can reduce the size, say maybe 0.5, depending on your preference. You can see it's not really showing here, so you can make it 1.0. And once that is done, the next thing you want to do is you just click on apply. But I don't necessarily need to click on apply, because the effect using the layer styling panel gets it applied immediately. Now you can also see that the text, they're not properly positioned, as it is looking as if it's overlapping with the marker points. You can see it seems like the text are on the marker points, and so you want to use the placement tab to undo this what we're seeing here. And so you can click on the placement tab and change the distance. Select the placement around point and change the distance to say 2. And now you can see that the text is slightly above the marker points, and this is automatically applied as well. We can also use QGIS to change the positions of the labels to be rendered directly over the points. We can change the positions of the label, and we can use the placement tool and select offset from point. When we select offset from point, we can see the automatic changes that is being affected here. And so you can use the quadrant to select any placement of your choice to offset the text, that's the labels. And as you can see, whatever you choose is being reflected here on your map. And so I'd like you to go to your symbology and just change the marker point size to 0. And once this is done, you can come back to your layer, and you'd notice that the point is not really very visible anymore, the size, because of the size, and so we can't see any of it showing.